I'm dealing primarily with Christians and our worldview and our understanding of what marriage is all about. In marriage, sex is not a dirty word. Sex is not a dirty word in marriage or a worldly indulgence. It's physical intimacy is central. True marital intimacy or sexual life is far deeper. It is a holistic oneness. Okay? Because I know that sometimes men, we tend to look at this we have our ways. I don't know how should I put this. Yeah, sex is very important for men, and that we cannot get away with or from. We can't get away from that. That is a fact. It's not dirty. It's not bad. It's an intimacy. Now, it doesn't happen that way. Because you sharing your mind, or you keeping your thoughts to yourself, you're not sharing your feelings, you're not sharing your vulnerabilities, you're not talking about things, look, your wife or the woman in your life, they think differently, they process differently, they want a deeper life than just that. That's just one aspect of it, okay? But you need to understand that...
Regardez notre nation, regardons bien notre pays. Dieu nous a bénis avec ces grands pays. L'envie de tous les peuples, tous les pays. Les gens parlent que de notre pays en bien. Mais la majorité des temps, c'est nous les Congolais, en principe, qui parlent en mal. Non. Que voyons-nous pour notre pays, la RDC? Que voyons-nous pour notre pays, la RDC? Dieu nous a bénis. Dieu nous a donné cette terre. Que voyons-nous? Parce qu'il y a certaines personnes, pour eux, c'est toujours en Europe. C'est là où il y a la vie.
Nicholas, I want to minister to you. I feel the Spirit of the Lord is speaking to me right now. Even before the foundation of the world, you're going to call yourself what I called you. And on the inside of you are planted dreams and visions. But the Lord said this is a strategic timing for you. You tear down mindsets. You tear down strongholds. And change the thinking of my people. The Lord said give you the days to come. I want to give you open doors for you.
Hello and welcome to my channel again. Today's Friday 19th of September, and I hope you are all doing good today. I'm very happy to be able to exchange again with you in this video where I'm talking about divorce and everything that comes as a result of divorce. Now, this is basically a series of conversation that I've been having, and I would invite you, if you have the time, please go to my channel. You will see a number of videos that I have already put out there, and these videos will give you an understanding of where it's all coming from, and I've covered so many things just so you can get a bit of a perspective in terms of context and a perspective as to where we stand today. So today I'm just basically going to get into it. Let me just say before I start, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and give us thumbs up and let us know your comment as well. And this is basically a platform, something that I've put here so we can exchange. And I know if anybody is going through such thing as a divorce, it can be very messy, very difficult to deal with, and it's a challenge, and you need you need some help, just like myself, just basically talking about this and helping anybody out there is kind of therapeutic. It's kind of helping me process the things that is basically happening in my life right now. So I would invite you, please, if you have any comments, if you have anything you want to say, then please do say it to me, or at least, write to me. I will get back to you. The comments below is for you to exchange with me. So I'm very glad to be doing this today, and I am so grateful. So without further ado, let's get into it. What am I talking about today? As you can see the title, most of us destroy our marriages because of this. And it's very, very important that we do talk about this. Like I said, many of the things that I'm talking about here is out of a book that I have written as a result of what I've been through and what I'm still going through. I had so many questions, tons of questions that I had to answer, and it has led me to write a book, from which I'm basically producing these videos. So what I'm going to talk about today is love and intimacy, God's gift of oneness. This is very, very important, and I just going to get into it right now. So when God created marriage, he designed intimacy as one of its most profound gifts. Far from being shameful, it was his idea from the beginning. Okay, there are things that sometimes you think like, oh, this is taboo to talk about, but I think a lid has already been lifted and you can talk about anything, especially when it comes to this, when it comes to marriage. This is vital, and we need to talk about what we have to talk about, and that's very, very important. So when God created marriage, he designed intimacy as one of its most profound gift. Far from being shameful, it was his idea from the beginning. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. And they become one flesh. So the Apostle Paul expands on his teaching to the Galatian church. He says the husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to the husband. So they both have duties towards each other, and this is within obviously the context of marriage. And as I said before, I'm dealing primarily with Christians and our worldview and our understanding of what marriage is all about. In marriage, sex is not a dirty word. Sex is not a dirty word in marriage or a worldly indulgence. It's not from the world, so don't think of it as a bad thing. It is a holy expression of covenant love. Intimacy was created to unite, protect, and delight within the context of a lifelong commitment. So in marriage, sex is not a dirty word or a worldly indulgence. It is a holy expression of covenant. It is a holy expression of covenant. Intimacy was created to unite, protect, and delights within the context of a lifelong commitment. Okay, I'm not going to talk about what happens in the secular world. I'm not going to talk about what happens in the non-believing society. I'm not going to talk about that, because here I'm talking about context in terms of marriage, in terms of in a Christian context. Okay, so while physical intimacy is central, true marital intimacy is far deeper. I say again, while physical intimacy is central, true marital intimacy is far deeper. Yes, that's one aspect. Within a marriage setting, that one aspect of your sexual life, that is just one aspect. So don't take the whole thing and bring it down to that. as important as it is, and this is what we're talking, we need to understand that this aspect within the marriage setting is vital, is very, very important. So don't take it lightly. Okay, your sexual relationship is very important within the context of a marriage. And that aspect, once neglected, like anything else, it will have profound effects on your life and relationship. But while that physical intimacy is central, true marital intimacy or sexual life is far deeper. It is a holistic oneness. Okay? Because I know that sometimes men, we tend to look at this we have our ways. I don't know how should I put this. Yeah, sex is very important for men, and that we cannot get away with or from. We can't get away from that. That is a fact. It's not dirty. It's not bad. It's not uncouth. It's not wrong to see things in this way. Okay? It is a need. It is part of us. It is part of life. And for men, it means a lot. It is really important for men. We have to understand that aspect of things. And men think a lot in terms of that and in that sort of environment. But what we need to understand, and as men, we need to understand that that's not always the case with women. That's not how women process. That's not how they see things. We're different and we have different needs. And this is vital. And this is really important for us to understand. That while this is very, very, men tend to attach a lot of importance to it because of the need of a man, it's not the same for a woman. And we need to get that into our head and we need to understand that. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay, so it is a holistic oneness. So don't just think about sex. Or that's if you know this. Don't just think about sex in your mind. Think about everything else that surrounds that. That is vital and that is really, really important. So when you talk about holistic approach to this, you're thinking about emotional, okay, sharing thoughts, feelings, and vulnerability. Sharing thoughts, feelings, and vulnerability. So if you're not sharing your thoughts, if your thoughts are within yourself, if you live your life just like you, and you don't share your mind with your spouse, how it is going to become very difficult. Okay, because all you have in your mind, okay, you know, as a man, you know, I'll go out to my wife and, you know, we will have intimacy. Now, it doesn't happen that way. Because you sharing your mind, or you keeping your thoughts to yourself, you're not sharing your feelings, you're not sharing your vulnerabilities, you're not talking about things, you know, look, your wife or the woman in your life, they think differently, they process differently, they want a deeper life than just that. That's just one aspect of it, okay? But you need to understand that that emotional level is also very important. Sharing your thoughts, your feelings, and your vulnerability throughout the day, that's something that, you know, you need to find a little bit more about. Spiritual, praying together, worshiping and seeking God together, all of this is that holistic approach that I'm talking about here. It is so important. I mean, if you're not praying together, if you're not worshiping together, you're not seeking God together, I mean, you live separate lives, you know, on this spiritual dimension. It's not going to stick together. It's not going to stick together. You need to have this spiritual dimension of your life aligned. This is very, very important. This is one of the reasons why, if you haven't watched the videos that I put out, please do go watch some videos that I did mention some of these things, how this alignment does help in a relationship. And I'm saying all of this because I'm trying to help you to see that I have made mistakes in my marriage and it cost me a lot. And today I'm a divorced man. Now, obviously, I don't want you to go through what I am going through, and to go through the pain of all this is too much. It can break some people. I mean, it can break you. That's what I'm trying to say. But I don't want you to go through the pain. So the mistakes I have made, you need to learn from that. And that's the reason why I'm bringing this out to you. If it does help you, I praise God for it. The other dimension is relational. Walking side by side in trust. There needs to be a level of trust between husband and wife. Between partners, there needs to be that level of trust. That is... I don't know how to stress this, but there needs to be that level of trust. If you don't trust the person, the spouse next to you, the spouse doesn't trust you, or you don't trust your spouse, it's going to be very shaky. You are on shaky ground. You need to walk side by side in trust. And you need to walk side by side in purpose. You need to have a purpose and life's challenges. You need to go through all of this, walking together side by side, trusting each other. You have a purpose that you're working towards, and your life's challenges, you are sharing it together. All these things must all come together as a holistic approach. You must see these things together. Don't separate them. Don't think in your mind, okay, I have a sexual relationship with my wife, or a sexual department, and you have another department where she cannot go or he cannot go, and you're living put everything in different compartments. That's not the way it works. You need to see all of this together: emotional, spiritual, and relation. All these things must align in order for you to have that healthy relationship. Guilty? Yes, I've learned my lesson. I'm moving on. I hope you do learn your lessons as well. So a couple may share a bed, but still lack intimacy if their hearts and spirit are distant. A couple may share a bed, but still lack intimacy if their hearts and spirit are distant. True intimacy is the fusion. Okay, listen. True intimacy is the fusion of body, soul, and spirit in covenant love. True intimacy is the fusion of body, soul, and spirit in covenant love. This is how it works. It's the fusion of those three things. Okay? That's true intimacy. If you don't have this fusion, then there is no true intimacy. Okay. God's vision versus the world distortion. The world often reduces sex to selfish pleasure or temporary passion. Media and culture portrays it as a tool for gratification, divorced from covenant or responsibility. Okay, media and culture portrays it as a tool for gratification, divorced from covenant or responsibility. It don't work that way. This is how the world sees sex, but this is not how God sees sex. But in God's design, intimacy or sex is never about taking. It is about giving. It is not self-centered, but other-centered, reflecting Christ's sacrificial love for his church. I said, reflecting Christ's sacrificial love for his church. Paul describes this in Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. When intimacy is practiced in the covenant of marriage, it becomes a reflection of Christ's love, pure, protective, and holy. Okay, and what are the barriers? I'm really frank, I haven't got much time, and so I'm just really flying through this. As I said, time is coming to an end, but let me just quickly, barriers that breaks intimacy. Sadly, many couples experience broken intimacy due to sin. neglect, or unresolved wounds. Sadly, many couples experience broken intimacy due to sin, neglect, or unresolved wounds. Some of the most common barriers include secrecy, pornography, bitterness, and unforgiveness. Secrecy, hidden struggles, whether emotional or sexual, erode trust. Pornography, a counterfeit intimacy that distorts desire and damages real connection. Bitterness and unforgiveness, emotional walls often harden long before physical intimacy appears. I'm out of time. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, share this, give me your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye for now.